Hello, what's up, how you doing? This is Ovi Gilberto, and you're most welcome to Basis Ovi Gilberto Music Source. Thank you so much. And today I've come with the second lesson. You remember last week I did a lesson about 10 musical terms any musician need to know. These terms are used in band sessions and other musical setups. And so today I told you last week that I'll bring lesson 2, which is part 2 today, of 10 more musical terms that you need to be aware of and you know how to use them. Okay, so if this is your first time, make sure you can like, subscribe, and comment to my videos so that, you know, we keep going in good faith. All right, without wasting your time, if you're not sure of the other lesson of last week, I'll link it down in the description, or you never know, you may find it up. But you'll find it in the description down. Just check in the description and you'll find a previous lesson of part 1, 10 terms for you as a musician to know. And today I've come up with 10 more charming. Is it charming the right word? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I've come up with more 10. So pick up your bass, if you're bassist or if you're pianist or guitarist, and we get started. We see these are ideas we have to know as musicians. It doesn't matter whether you're bassist, whether you're a pianist, or you're a violinist, whatever you could be, you can use this. Okay, so our term number 1 today is gonna be a very tough term that everyone always confuses somehow. I don't know, but it's true. So we are going to combine this. Let's understand what is a riff and what is a lick. So what's the difference between a riff and lick? Okay, so look at, for example, in the beginning of this lesson, I was playing something like this, some song I'm composing in the key of D minor, something like, please don't steal my song, okay? Promise you will not steal my song. Okay, don't steal my song, but I'm still cooking up. So it goes like this. Oh, sorry. So now, I'll go first and foremost. Let's start with number 1 of those 2 terms. A riff is a repeated pattern or repeated phrase. So imagine what I'm playing is really repeated. That's a riff. That's a bass riff. If it was a guitar, I would say that's a guitar riff, you know. That's a guitar riff. It's repeated. The pattern is really repeated. You know, that's a riff. And then what about now what you think of a lick? Now think of a riff and a lick. Think of like a sentence. For example, I'm going to New York City. If I'm going to New York City, and that's the whole sentence. I'm going to New York City. But the words in this sentence, I'm going to New York City, those different phrases and how they are mentioned in the sentence is what we call a lick. So for example, if I play, so it's a lick at the same time. The notes played inside this riff is what we call a lick. You see? That's a lick. That's a lick. Then you hear 2 phrases in this bass line. I mean this riff. Okay? And originally that's what you would call like something like a bass line. But now we talk of a riff. So that's first lick. So there are 2 licks in this. Each make 2 phrases to make one complete riff. that's one example you can understand that a riff is a full sentence and a lick are the words used in the sentence. That's in the grammatical way of understanding it. But musically, let's talk of what any other example. There are licks which have been played over different songs that you know. For example, let's talk of a song like Sir Duke by, Stevie Wonder. That is, it played, there's a lick they play like this, it's in the key of, I think, E major. You hear? So that's a full lick, That's a very clear lick in its way because it's not really that much repeating. So that's a much more clear example of just a lick when you hear that, It's not really a repeated pattern as such. You hear? That's a lick. That's a lick. You hear the language in it. It's really every step is kind of a lick in it, every phrase in it. So this is just a note to start the lick. That's a lick. Then that's a lick. Then that's also because having hammer over, slide over. That's a lick. All that is a lick ending with this note 5, being in the key of E major. So that's a lick. Think of there's a redemption song by Bob Marley. Something like that. I could have messed up some notes, but that is redemption song. That is a full riff. That's a riff, That sounds like a complete bass line, which is a riff at the same time. And also you have to know that riff itself is accompanying what inside it. It's having what we call the lick. Every phrase of that riff is a lick inside. The language used in that, think about this as music is a language. We all know that music is a language. So what I played is a language speaking to somebody, That is the idea of a riff and a lick. A lick is to explain what you're playing. That's what I would tell you. A lick is to explain the riff by the notes inside, Okay, so our number 2 is what we would call syncopation. So what's syncopation? Syncopation is just kind of abnormality of making, because as we know, like in any measure, let's assume our time signature is 4/4. Every measure 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 in every measure. That's what we assume. But syncopation, normally it's a breakdown of playing, instead of playing the strong beat on each, instead of hitting on the beat, 1 on the beat, 2 on the beat, I may instead be off beat, or I sound before the actual beat, So it's like in an example, like if it's a 4/4, someone might play something like this as an example. I'm going to give you like 2 examples of syncopation. That's 1. Somebody can play 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one, the beat is So it's before the beat coming. I'm playing before the actual beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this first part is syncopation. This is now no syncopation because every note is on the beat. This off beat, off beat, on beat, on beat, on beat. You hear that? Off beat, off beat. It sounds like a rest as well, but that's an example of syncopation. You know, that's one. Another one, somebody can play something starting with a rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, pa, 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 pa. Hear that? 1, pa, 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 pa. 1, pa, 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 pa. 1, pa, 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 pa. So here this off beat. 1, off beat, off beat, off beat, on beat, on beat, on beat, on beat. 1, off beat, off beat, off beat, off, on beat, on beat, on beat. Yeah, that's so many cases where we really use syncopation. And in band, you hear some band leaders the band leaders, they mention that and they even don't know what it means, you know. They just say, play like this. Da, 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 da. That's syncopation. There are so many cases. I can't give you all the examples, but at least I hope these 2 examples explain well to you. It's kind of abnormality, not really abnormality, anticipation. I was trying to remind myself of the exact musical language. It's anticipation, you know, trying to force beats to be off, the playing to be off beat, not on the beat. So things like using the rest is a very good example of syncopation, you know, and so many cases you'll find. Okay, I'm done with that. And number 3, we're going to talk about the key signature. So what's a key signature, you know? Key signature is just, I would say, it is the number of flats, arrangement where you see on a musical clef, where the number of flats, it can be number of sharps or flats or natural, you know, signs placed after the clef symbol. For example, let's look on the screen here. We have the first one, which you can see is the very first you see is F major. So F major, where you see that 1 flat, you know, 1 flat, that small b, you know, the small b is meaning that the key of F major has only 1 flat, and that flat is in the key of, is on the note of B flat. So that's the implication of that. Look at the other one. The second one is having A flat. It's having 4 flats, you know. So A flat simply means that there are 4 flats on that key. So you can see the number of flats there. You can also see D flat, as you can see. So those small symbols there is what we call the key signature. And what they mean is they define to you which key is this song. Now, in this issue, if you can't really read music, I'm very sorry for that. But if you can read music or you can understand music, it could be a treble clef or bass clef or, you know, tenor clef. It has to be placed in between the clef symbol and the time signature. Now, that's something else I have to talk about. But that's all about key signature. Those symbols, it can even be natural. For example, C, you might see everything. There's no flat, no sharp. So everything is natural. So C has no sharp, has no what? No flats. A minor, the same, you know. So our number 4, and next thing which really connects to this, let's talk about time signature. So what's time signature? Time signature is a meter, you know. Is a meter which explains how many beats occur in a measure, you know, and for what type of beat is received by a note. You know, how do we count a note? How many beats are in a note? Am I right? I mean, what type of beat is received in every count? So, for example, I hope I've not messed up my explanation. I'll repeat if I have messed up. Now, for example, let's take a 4/4. There are so many kind of time signatures. It can be 6/8, 9/8, 4/4, 2/4, 3/4, 5/4, 7/4, etc., etc. But I want to speak about a very simple time signature. Not really simple, but the common one, which is 4/4. So 4/4, that means that in every measure, there are 4 beats. So for example, 4/4, like for example, if you look here, 4/4 time signature, that 4/4 simply means that the top note simply means that there are 4 beats on that measure, as you can see. But the downer 4 simply means that for what type of count is each beat. So 4/4 simply means that every beat in the measure is a quarter note. That is 4/4, you know. And it's going to be counted 1 beat, you know. If it was 2/4, that means that in the measure there are 2 beats, and each beat is going to be counted 1. So the 4, the upper 4 simply means how many beats in the measure. The downer 4 simply means what is the count of each beat. So if it is 4/4, the downer beat, each beat will be 1 count or 1 beat. Okay? So that's all about, you know, kids time signature. So if it is 4/4, we'll play 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. You know, that's all. If it is 2/4, 1, 2, that's all. If you can't read music, please do some research, and if not, just try to understand it your own way. You know, not everything you need to, you know, go to school. You can understand it your own way. Okay, I'm moving faster. Number 5, dynamics. So what's dynamics? Dynamics simply means playing soft or so loud or medium loud, something like that. So you're in the band. I assume you're in the band. So, and then somewhere the dynamic comes in. You are playing, really playing loud. Then some. That's loud, soft, very soft, medium soft. That's what we call dynamics in a song. And even when you're singing, even when you're playing, sometimes you need to be loud, sometimes you need to be medium loud, sometimes you need really to be so soft, you know. Dynamics is very, very important. Any musician you play and you don't have dynamics, you don't understand dynamics, you always create a lot of mess in music. So please, always learn to be soft, learn to be loud where necessary, learn to be, you know, medium loud. You can even be extreme soft where necessary. And this, if it's a band session, you all have to move together. Don't play loud when people are playing soft. Don't play soft when people are playing loud, etc., etc. All right, number 6. I want to talk about a term called a cue. A cue, this is something very much evident in band session. Like, for example, someone is counting the song, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You know, and then the song starts. 1, 2, 3, 4. A cue is like a starting point of a song, an action that makes everybody in the band to know where to start from. If it's an orchestra, you know, the conductor does this. It's a cue. I hope this is the sign. I studied classical music as well, and my teacher is Dr. Maria from Africa Institute of Music. But I always loved when she does this. I'm in the orchestra or in the choir. I'm always ready to see what next. Because when you don't see the conductor's cue, you're gone. if it's an orchestra or band. So in the band session, contemporary music, jazz music, there's always, it can be most cases, the drummer is the person who makes the tune. Counting the sticks, you always hear the sticks all the time. 1, 2, 3, 4. You always hear that, right? That's a tune. Some people, they may start with, with any instrument can also start. Not necessarily a drum, anything else can start, but any action that alerts everyone to know that the song is starting or we are starting to play, that's what we call a cue. Okay. Number 7, we are almost going to the end. Slash chords. What are slash chords? This I'm going to run through very well. This is specifically for bass players and piano players and guitar players in most cases. Now, slash chords are normally like, it's just a chord tone. For example, if the chord is C stroke E, E is the third of what? Of C. So normally for the bass players, like if you look here, C stroke E, for the bass player, make sure you play the E note. And the pianist, they will play, if I play for you that chord for the pianist, they will play something like that. This is the key of C. That's the C, E stroke E, C will be like for the bass. But not necessarily for the chord. If I'm playing with the band, I don't need to play this chord. The band, the chord people, the pianist, if it is C stroke E, you make sure that your left hand is playing the E and the right hand is playing the C. But in that case, it's a first inversion chord. So you have to play C first inversion in that case. Don't forget that. So you mess up, it will be a problem. Yeah. Some people will just play the C with the root and then E, but the harmony doesn't come out. It has to be that. But for bass players, just mind about, the E. Play the E. Play what is on the right, always. If it is D stroke F sharp, play F sharp. Play what's on the left. For the piano players and the guitarists, you have to know inversion. So you always know that the first note goes on the right hand, if it's defined as the chord itself, and the left, the slash one on the right side is what goes on your left. So for the piano players, it's really very weird to me. I used to play some piano and that sounded weird to me. And things are like this, in writing, but in playing it's like this. You can imagine that kind of life. Okay, so that's what we call a slash chords. There are so many slash chords, and bassists don't do that mistake. Don't do that mistake at all. Let the harmony people do their mistakes, and for you play the right notes. Okay, I'm done with that. I hope you have got it right. Now, number 8, I want to talk about tempo. What's tempo? Tempo is just the speed at which the music is flowing. The speed, if it's this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So if the time signature is 4/4, the tempo could be around, you say, maybe quarter note running at 80, So you always see in music, it's illustrated somewhere on top of music, small, quarter note equals to 80. You see that 80 BPM. So that's the tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, That's tempo. Tempo is the speed. Some songs really have very high tempo. Some songs really have slow tempo, Even in all kind of genres, you think, tempo is affecting playing at all costs. So that's what we call tempo. High tempo, low tempo. The speed at which something is being played. That's tempo. Okay. Number 9, almost done. Soloing. Now, what's soloing? This is something I almost wanted it to go to the end. Soloing is, to me, what I realized that the little I can play in soloing, I'm not really good in soloing. But what I've realized is that the definition of soloing to me is just a composition on spot, You just compose a melodic pattern on spot, or it could be a lick, it could be a riff, Anything you can play. It could be a rhythm you can play. you know, like you compose something, you were playing a song, you know. So if they give you the solo, that's the song is in the E key of E major. You know, you're just creating, but remember, wherever you're playing should be harmonically matching with what the rest of the band is playing. So that's, to me, that's something that blessed my heart after realizing that soloing is really composition on spot. It's really improvisation. To improvise, it has ideas. Of course, you should be knowing the song, you should be knowing the head melody. And when you're to solo over in a song, you should really be knowing the head melody. There are so many methods of soloing, so many ideologies and logistics upon soloing, but I tell you one main thing, you must know the head melody, because you can always do good. Yeah. All right, the last one is, now let's talk about turnaround. So what's turnaround? Turnaround is just a place where they play a cadence leading us back to the beginning of the song. So in the 12-bar blues, the 12th measure is always could have a 2-5 taking us back to 1. And also within the song could be A, B, A, you know. So from B section, the last measure taking us to the next A section could be a turnaround also. There are so many places you could find turnaround. So whatever you do, taking you back to chord 1 is what we call turnaround. I remember my teacher, Mr. Chris Weigers, he used to demonstrate to me the idea of turnaround. If I wasn't making this video, I would stand up and do it for you. Like you stand like this, then you turn around, you know, like this, you turn around. I mean, I don't have a joint here, okay? I mean, I have a joint, but, you know, if I overturn, it's going to be hard. But, you know, turn around, turn around. So when you used to be in primary school, you stand like this, then turn around, you face where you have been going. You hear, you turn around, you face where you're going. So that's how he used to illustrate that to me. And that's how I really understood it. But I've seen it in very many songs. It's really something that is very, very important. So I hope today's lesson has helped you guys. It has been a long discussion. Please stay blessed. And always don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. I wish you a happy week and a wonderful week. And keep tuned to this channel, Bassist of Gilberto Music Source. Thank you so much. God bless you.